Look, I really think any change to company tax would be a really competitive advantage for the industry. I mean, it would allow them to put it back into their business to continue to grow, to reinvest in their staff and skilling. We know skilling is a big issue within the industry, so any tax relief in relation to that would be wonderful. And I think payroll tax is something that all businesses struggle to understand. And removing that would allow them to reinvest in more staff, employ more people, and allow them to remain competitive internationally. And I think any tax relief is a great thing.
In my opinion, the lowering of the company tax will free up money. That not only allows us to grow manpower-wise, but also in regards to our expenditure. So that allows us to get out there, do more marketing, do more promotions, travel areas such as that. So that freeing up of that cash. The world's very competitive. Our market is competitive, so you're looking to save every dollar. And by having that, you include that with the salaries taxes that are also charged by every state. So you've got a number of taxes that are going out, so that's an expenditure that's there. So any way of reducing that expenditure gives you more money to invest and grow.
Well, putting it up definitely wouldn't help, but any improvement to our tax, like lowering of the tax, is certainly going to help us. And I'm going to imagine businesses of our size, or plus or minus, any spare cash they get are going to go back into the business. So if we have more money at the end of the year to spend on either more stock or more staff or both, it's going to help the business, it's going to help the economy. So I can't see a counter argument for doing the opposite.
Look, I think it's a real challenge for the industry. We've seen energy costs rise from $45 per megawatt per hour in 2014 up to a peak of $102 a megawatt per hour. So it's a real challenge. It's an increase in costs, so it's something that manufacturers need to be aware of. And I'm proud to say at St George we've got a team of specialists, and we've partnered with people within the energy to provide free energy assessments to help try and reduce some of those costs for them. It's something that's got to be constantly under review, but it's a real challenge for the industry.
They are, definitely. We're finding now from our customers that they're looking at alternative ways of doing things. There's cutbacks from them. We deal in a large degree with the smelting industry, which is a huge power draw themselves. They're looking at their costings, they're looking at their reduction, so therefore their purchasing has reduced to counteract this. When you get a situation where power bills generally have gone up 100% in the last sort of 6 to 10 years, that's a massive cost on industry, massive cost on business, but it's cost personally as well, of course. We're finding that our bills, it's all about usage. We're finding our bills are still relatively high from there itself. And of course, you've got an operation across a number of states, so there are different states with different power sort of pricing from there itself. I think realistically, in our opinion, let's come up with an energy policy from the government and let's move forward with it. There's a lot of talk at the moment about power, whether it's coming from coal-fired, renewables, whether nuclear is an option, everything like this. When I look at, say, my counterparts overseas and do some comparisons, we are, and as I believe, one of the highest charged countries in the world for power. I recently did a trip to India. Their operation over there and their building is probably 10 times the size of this building, but their power bill's less. So yeah, any way of reducing those costs, again, allows you the opportunity to spend more money in other areas.
Well, they're atrocious compared to the rest of the world. They don't affect us so much. We don't spend a lot on energy, or we've got some lights. But some of our customers do. We do a lot with food process companies. There are steel makers, aluminium producers that we work with, and their costs of power have gone through the roof, and it's probably making them difficult for them to compete. So if it's difficult for them to compete and they don't compete well, then the on-flow effect is they don't buy as much off us, if any. So if they can't compete, then we find it difficult.
Look, I think both sides of government could do more to help here. We talk about globalisation and Industry 4.0, and any protection that they can get to assist with that would be great. But I really think there's an opportunity to provide incentives for people to tap into international markets, and anything the government could do to assist in that would be really beneficial.
No, definitely not. We have a system in Australia called CTIC, which is an electrical classification on electronic equipment coming in. Now that CTIC approval is there so to say that your equipment is approved by the Australian regulatory authorities. When you get what we call grey imports, which are copycat imports coming in, they don't have those approvals. Of course, they come in a lot cheaper because their manufacturing costs from the countries they're buying from are a lot cheaper. People are thinking they're buying the authentic product when they're actually not, so it is hurting our industry. So there should be things looked at. If you're going to have regulations in place, let's make sure the imports coming in have those regulations as well. We do the right thing here. You know, we've set up as a business. We've been here 33 years. We've had all the approvals put in place, but when you get sort of corporations and companies that are copycat manufacturing, bringing those goods in, lower price, companies themselves, like us, are looking to save costs. And having that regulation there, a lot of people overlook that regulation and say, oh yes, but I can buy your product from such and such at half your price. So there are regulations that need to be reinforced to protect the industries, not only the industries that manufacture here, but the industries that import 100% correctly as well.
I don't know what they can do to legislate against people wanting to buy substandard products. We compete against lower cost copies every day. We compete against them, and customers have got a choice to either pay for something that's a high quality and something that's going to be investment for them, or something cheaper that's going to end up being a cost, and they'll have to pay for it many times over compared to buying something of quality. That happens in no matter what anyone buys. So I don't think the government can stop people buying something cheap and nasty. Those that have got a quality product, I believe, have just got to educate their customers on the value proposition of buying a better product.